Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold is all out with the first real look in the teaser. It is now the right time to compare with the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Honestly, I find Pixel appealing to a much bigger audience, and you'll also find it after watching this video. Google finally changed the design on Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and this is the real look of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. When I first saw this device, I immediately recognized a similar design on a Chinese foldable, and that is OnePlus Open. It literally looks the same. Although Z Fold 6 came with a completely different design, it gets a boxier design, the sides are flat compared to the rounded sides on Pixel, but what I prefer is a flat sides. This looks really good and feels really good in hand. It all comes down to personal preference, but I like Z Fold 6, although when we move to the thickness of both devices, we get some interesting findings. As per info, Pixel 9 Pro Fold will going to feature a 10.54mm thickness. That's a really good number considering the Z Fold 6, because Fold 6 features 12.1mm. Both phones gets a slimmer design compared to their predecessor, but Pixel is much thinner. The weight of the phone is not confirmed, but according to the sources, Pixel 9 Pro Fold will come with a 257 grams of weight. That is a lot less compared to 283 grams on the first generation Pixel Fold, although Z Fold 6 in comparison is much lighter at 239 grams, so you'll feel a weight difference if you hold both phones side by side. If you are updating from Pixel Fold first generation, you will feel a big difference, but if you are coming from a Z Fold 6, then don't expect to be lighter. Even Z Fold 5 from last year is lighter than the new Pixel 9 Pro Fold. There are completely different camera design on the back of each device. I would say Samsung manages it really well, and I kinda like it. I'll share more details on the camera later, but the color options are also out. There are only two color options available for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, Obsidian and Porcelain, no more. Meanwhile, the Z Fold 6 gets a plenty of color options, from gray, midnight blue, pink, crafted black, peach, and white. Some of these colors you can only find on Samsung's official website. With the new look in front of us and the specs, I can confidently say Google did a great job on improving the Pixel 9 Pro Fold over last generation. The displays are much better and completely new design compared to the Pixel Fold. I will return back to the Z Fold 6 in a moment, but I want to have a chat with you about the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Both inner and cover display are updated. The cover display comes with a 6.3 inches size compared to 6.2 on Z Fold 6. And the inner display is massive at 8 inches compared to only 7.6 inches on the Z Fold 6. Now when we look at the inner display of Pixel 9 Pro Fold, it looks like the OnePlus Open. Even when we look at the cover display, it also looks like the OnePlus Open, and it's not a bad thing because people like the cover display of OnePlus Open more than any Galaxy Foldable. Even Z Fold 6 don't get that much of wider cover display, but there's one thing I like more on Z Fold 6 compared to Pixel 9 Pro Fold, that is the design of the cover display. Samsung reduced the hinge so much so they can add the symmetrical bezels on the Z Fold 6, which is why it looks really good and it doesn't have the part of the hinge like the Pixel Fold 2 or OnePlus Open. If you're up for S Pen support, Z Fold 6 should be your priority hands down because Pixel 9 Pro Fold don't have such feature. Whenever I see a foldable phone, even I own one of the foldable phone, I always thinking about the durability. Reason, there was a lot of moving parts which obviously decrease the durability on a foldable phone. Z Fold 6 is a strong device. Even from the looks, it is really good and comes with a gapless hinge. Meanwhile, it is expected Google would go with the same hinge design with no gap between the hinge, but last time when Google made a foldable phone this thinner, it didn't survive the bend test from Jerry Rig, so I'm excited to see how it holds this year. Z Fold 6 obviously survived that test. Also, Z Fold 6 gave us IP48 rating for the first time in a foldable phone. There is no such news for Pixel 9 Pro Fold, although last year, Google gave us IPX8 rating, which is more than enough for a foldable phone, since IP48 rating is only rated for over 1mm, and usually dust particles are smaller than 1mm. But it is better towards a dustproof foldable on Galaxy Foldable. I'm a little bit disappointed about the Z Fold 6 cover display glass. Samsung this year used a Gorilla Glass armor on S24 Ultra and we expected similar on Z Fold 6. But it never happened. Samsung used the same glass from last year, Victus 2 on Z Fold 6. I'm not saying it's bad, but GG Armor was much better, 4 times scratch resistant. The number of folds would be similar to 100,000 on Z Fold 6 and expected similar numbers for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Although according to Samsung, if you are a normal user who open and close the Fold 6 50 times a day, it can survive over 10 years. Massive claim, but we'll take it. This is what I like the most on the Pixel Fold 2. The crease looks like a Chinese foldable, and that's a good thing. This all depends on the new hinge structure Google is using with the Pixel Fold 2. Z Fold 6 however looks similar to its predecessor. There is a slight improvement but not much compared to the last generation. Battery life is one of the most important thing in a foldable phone, and last year Google gave us bigger battery in Pixel Fold, much bigger than the Z Fold 5 or even the Z Fold 6. But this year, I'm a little bit worried. Don't get me wrong, the battery size is much smaller but the display size is much bigger on both inner and cover display. Pixel 9 Pro Fold aka Pixel Fold 2 will going to feature a 4560 mAh battery that is slightly bigger in size compared to the Z Fold 6 4400 but much smaller compared to the last generation Pixel Fold at 4800. Although better optimization plays a major role but cannot compete with the bigger hardware, and Pixel Fold optimization was off compared to the Z Fold 6, as Z Fold 5 and Z Fold 6 both beat Pixel Fold first generation in battery life. You know Tensor Games for efficiency and similar story for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, but Tensor Gen 4 is improved over last generation, and keep in mind, Pixel 9 Pro Fold is getting a 2-generation difference. Pixel Fold first generation gets a Tensor Gen 2 instead of Tensor Gen 3. I would say if you own Pixel Fold and go with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, you won't see much difference in the battery life, and I would say Z Fold 6 and Pixel 9 Pro Fold would have a similar battery numbers. The charging speed however is different. Z Fold 6 gets a 25W fast charger and Google is going with the 20W on Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Maybe they branded more, but documentation tells us 20W fast charger for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. There will be a big performance difference between the Pixel Fold 2 and Z Fold 6, and we all know Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 made for Galaxy processor is much more powerful than the Exynos 2400. Now the reason I mentioned Exynos 2400 because Tensor Gen 4 would perform similar. In raw performance all time, I would go with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 even with the efficiency, although Samsung improved a lot with the Exynos 2400, but still not up to the point. But if you daily drive Pixel Fold 2 and Z Fold 6, you won't feel much of a big difference, but main thing is gaming and heavy task. You will see big difference, and keep in mind, there is a chance of heat throttling. Samsung already gave us much bigger vapor chamber, and that's the reason when we put this thing into test, it was one of the coolest among other phones. I would expect Google also do similar measures. The storage options are also out. The storage options are 256 gigs and 512 gigs on both devices. There is no 1TB version available. Although Google updated the RAM, we get 16 gigs instead of 12 gigs on Z Fold 6. It was a hard call if you are willing to buy the foldable phone and need the best camera system, as you don't find any foldable phone with the best camera system. Don't get me wrong, Z Fold 6 and Pixel 9 Pro Fold gets a decent camera setup, but we cannot call them best cameras. Z Fold 6 features a 50 megapixel main shooter, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto sensor. Meanwhile, Google gave us 48 megapixel main shooter, 10.5 megapixel ultra wide, and 10.8 megapixel telephoto sensor. For an expensive $2,000 phones, these cameras are not the best ones because they are candy bar phone versions like the S24 Ultra, and the Pixel 9 Pro XL gets the best camera system. It's 2024 and it is all about AI for Samsung, and Google is already in this game well before Samsung, and even both companies are helping each other. Samsung worked in hardware for Google and Google helped them in software. Google is going to offer a Gemini Advanced in Pixel 9 Pro Fold. That's the advanced version with a cost of $20 per month, but the twist is Google will only offer this model for a year, which means $240 per year. This is the amount of savings you can get while having the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Samsung as always gave us the basic AI features like the live translation on calls, document summarization, but there is one special feature, sketch to image feature, which if you draw something you can turn into a real image using AI, and this feature worked best with S Pen. And guess what, Google don't have such feature on Pixel 9 Pro Fold, but maybe we get this feature on Pixel 9 Pro Fold without S Pen. When I saw the pricing for the Pixel 9 Pro in European region, I was kinda like shocked. The base model is even too expensive. The base model starts with 1899 euros. 512 gigs version will cost you 2029 euros. Obviously, if you convert in dollars, that's a lot of money. But if we exclude taxes, still I believe Google might increase the price from last year. Last year it was $1799 on Pixel Fold. Even Z Fold 5 last year has the same price, but this year Samsung also increased the price at $1899, which is $100 more than last year. So to say the least, we can expect a $100 increase on Pixel 9 Pro Fold. It is a tough call, no doubt about that. Honestly, Samsung did a great job of making a more boxier design and making it lighter, which gives it a better user experience. But if you want to try a much wider cover display and much bigger inner display, Pixel is your go-to option. Obviously, I would consider Samsung software optimization on foldables. It was much better, and even as per Samsung claims, the durability is also great. If you want a wider cover display and bigger inner display, you got no other option but to go with Pixel. With that said, if you're still here, drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.